Well, it just looks like AT&T is not going to be cool to me today. Yeah, but AT&T is being a pain in the tuchus. It doesn't want to actually let me behave stream today. No idea why. It even claims I have a great signal, but that's not the way it's behaving. Hey, Jurgen. This thing is, this live stream is not going well today due to AT&T being a bitch. No other reason than that. I can't, at least I don't see any good reason for it other than that. It's worked great every other live stream we've done. So why this time it's decided it's not going to, I have no idea. How's it going? I'm doing all right. My live stream isn't. The the this is my internet.
Mm-hmm.
It's not wanting to work today.
Not good.
So while I've got people out there wanting to have a conversation and hang out to spend the day with the morning with me,
Yeah.
we're having a hard time of it. This is my neighbor. In case you guys can see him, this is my neighbor Luis. He's the best, and he's stopping over because he's gonna help me clear a field today.
Yes. So I want to go get the tractor.
Okay. Is that enough room? Did I to
Yeah.
get it through there the way
That's
I opened
enough.
it up?
That's enough.
Okay.
I just waiting you for on the gate to
Okay.
open it
Yeah.
for the big guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Get him out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be back in a
Yep.
minute.
I'll hear the tractor. I'll come out. All right. Well, I'm going to continue working here. And if you guys can enjoy it or spend time enjoying the company of the chat, please do. I'll keep talking through the beginner project at least. You can see it's been sitting in there too long. Built up a bunch of scale, and like I said, scale's just instant rust. little light taps to planish out all the differences in height from the rounding process or the forging process. Looks like I left it in the fire in just the right place for it to get burnt a little bit. Let's warm it up again and clean that out. It's easy to clean up as long as you didn't burn it up completely. Now what you can see over here is a coal fire. There's a bit of charcoal on the bottom to keep it from going out. You can see a lump of charcoal right there. And why? Because coal, if you don't keep air pumping through it, goes out. Charcoal does not. It'll sit there and smolder for quite some time. Let me get something better to poke with than that. We'll push that back there. Push that back there. Pull some of this coal forward. All right. And therefore, when I'm sitting there having to troubleshoot why my live stream isn't working, I don't lose my fire. Eric, I understand that. Been pulling a bunch of late nights this week. My boss, who's also my friend, tells us we're in full-on startup mode because some mistakes were made at my company that's got us having to rethink our whole way of doing business. What I'm learning full-on startup mode means is more blood, sweat, and tears than I'm used to. In the hopes of pulling its ass out of the fire so that we maybe have some value in the stock that we've been given an option to buy. Which, isn't that something? An option to buy stock that is worthless in the hope that it will be worth something. That is the American way. All right, there we go. All the divots that had been in there are now gone. They've been smoothed out. And we can start scrolling that. I hope you're enjoying this stop motion animation version of my live stream that AT&T has decided is going to be today's presentation. For the newbies out there who watch all of the amazing Smiths who share their knowledge, especially like John Switzer. By the way, you may notice right now, I didn't bother to care what direction I started this scroll in. And there's a reason for that. And actually, I'm kind of pleased it ended up on the diamond. But it won't matter because I'm going to end up twisting this. That's something I realized along the way. I want to do a twist. Twists just look nice, you know? It doesn't take a lot of heavy, you know, you don't have to be a manly man to be a blacksmith. You just have to have patience, perseverance. At least as a hobbyist. I'm not going to speak for all those folks who make a living at doing this. But I knew two ladies out there who do some beautiful work. One is as an artist, and in other words, that's what she calls herself. She doesn't call herself you know, just a blacksmith with a specific focus. And another who's also an artist, but who focuses does make a living creating custom railing. So, and we got Alexis here, if Alexis is still in the channel. But Alexis is a hobbyist, not a professional, I don't think, at the craft. All right, so we got a nice little scroll there. That's just to make it so that you don't ever get stabbed by the hook. We'll go ahead and clean that up a little bit. You don't have to have one of these brushes to clean your work. It's useful, but you don't have to have one. To know what it is, though, it's just a butcher block brush. Something used normally to clean a cutting board. And I don't know how many people have cutting boards, but I never had one of those when I had to use with any of my cutting boards. Still don't use it with my cutting board. But that's what it's for. All right, now let's give this a pretty twist, which means further into the fire where the little scroll won't get burnt off, because yes, it can get burnt off. Yeah, that's right. Let's twist again like we did last summer. Let's twist again like we did last year. Bring that over here. Change our point of view. And let's do a twist. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Lip marks on your screen get in the way. And I appreciate the call out there, Jurgen. Get that like button smooshed. Being too aggressive with how much air I'm pushing through this. I really don't need to push so much air through. I also don't need to have the workpiece so far down into the V. And I also realize one other thing. I'm holding on to it from the wrong end. So let's show you what I got on here is a tong clip that I made, inspired by Roy of Christ-Centered Ironworks. Pretty leaves. I love doing the leaves. It's a good beginner blacksmith project is to learn how to make those leaves and use them all sorts of places, just like I did here. That being said, you notice I have them curled because I just wanted to give that impression of, you know, life to my leaf. Sorry, I put it in the view. I'm not even on screen. Anvil, put it in view. I just recently added those curls. Which means that, you know, nothing you make is actually final if you don't want it to be final. I've made tongs. I've changed the shape of those tongs many times. Nothing you make has to be final. And this is the case with this one. I had them flat, and I was like, I want a little more life in there, so I put the curves on there. The only thing I have to worry about when I'm putting the curves is don't have the curves going towards my hand. So if this ends up sliding down far enough onto the tong that my hand's above it, they go down like that. But in this case, I put them up, so it's sort of like having my own little blade guard, if you will, for a sword. So put that down there because I'm not going to need that here. Let's go ahead and get this back in the fire. Start warming it up. And now I can actually see that the scroll's not going to get burnt up because it's not in the fire. Cool, Alexis. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me despite the stop motion animation. Hopefully I don't sound stop motion. I only seem visually stop motion. Where that screen has been. More importantly, what's been on that screen? I mean, filthy. Filthy, I say. All right. Let's open that up a little bit. What we're going to do here, switch back. I already did? Good. So, I may never actually have switched to the anvil now that I think about it. Yep, there we go. Open that up so it's ready for grabbing and a twisting. We're going to move this out of the way. We're actually going to back this up just a hair. There we go. Make sure that you're actually pointed in the right direction. There we go. All right, now we're ready. Let's get some. Spread that heat a little bit. If I really wanted to, and it'll be something I will think about doing the next time, my forge allows me to have a variable size fire pot. Or I should say variable length fire pot. I call it fire pot because that's what everybody else thinks of when they think about a coal forge. But it's not a pot at all. And that's why it can have that. There we go. We'll bring it over. We'll lock the first ½ inch into the vise. Let's get it towards the middle so I'm not torquing the vise. There we go. We'll drop that. We'll grab this. Wrong way. Up here. And we'll give it a twist. That easy. And recently, watching Roy's channel, I realized that if I were working with a longer bar, I don't even need to heat it up. I just get a hold of it at the end and start a twisting. Alright, now I have to think real hard. That's hard for me. I still need the hook, even though it's on the diamond. For the curl, I need the hook to be on the flat for what I'm going to do next. Let me think about that. Is that right? Yeah, I believe that's right. Because good old John Switzer actually inspired me as to what this hook will actually be today. If you caught his video, you'll already know what I'm making. Let's switch back over here. Let's clean this off. It'll be the first hook I've made that is this style. But what the heck? Why not? And then we'll see if I goofed it up. If I got it right. Really doesn't matter. It'll be a hook. It'll work. Yep. Let's catch some stuff on fire over here. As I let it fly out of my hand. It really is tight quarters in here, folks. It's going to be fun trying to figure out where I'm going to put the treadle hammer. Get a hold of this, clean up the other side. All right, that's pretty darn clean. It's going to switch it back around again. The one downside I will say of using linseed oil or flaxseed oil, same thing by the way, the difference typically is when you hear linseed oil, you hear boiled linseed oil. That's not the same thing. But linseed and flaxseed are the same thing. Downside of using that as your finish is it's got a very healthy amount of vitamin E, omega-3s, and has that fishy smell to it until it dries. It is a drying oil though, that's why I use it, why I recommend it. And if you use the raw stuff, it's also food safe. However, if you use the very commonly available boiled linseed oil, it is not food safe. Because it has additives in it to make it dry faster. I'm never in that much of a hurry, so I don't use the boiled linseed oil, and I also like to make food safe products. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that at least the audio part is fine. I can give some value in the content today. It does mean I should take a break and drink some water though. I've had a lot of chit chat going on. So yeah, right now I've got the light whiff of that oil in my nose since I just freshly oiled this handle and head of the hammer. But it's not the worst smell in the world. Not at all, not by a long shot. It's not as bad as microwave fish anyway. Yeah, that John Switzer, man, he is definitely one of the smiths upon whose shoulders I stand upon. I don't think I've missed a single one of his long-form videos. I don't watch his short stuff all that often, except maybe when I'm scrolling on Facebook. All right, so what we're going to do now is put a very short taper on here, which means pulling it right out to the edge of my anvil so I can get the oblique blows in here on here. And yeah, I am, I think, slightly tapping my anvil there on the edge. But I really want this taper to be short. And I've accomplished that. Let's get this back in the fire. The Roy White. I think he's the only smith I've seen who regularly wipes the face of his anvil off. But then again, it could be because I've also watched all of Roy's long form videos. I think I've watched all of Yama's long form videos too, but he got busy. Doesn't make him anymore. All right, and with that, we'll go down here and okay, so I did need to put a little more twist in there. I just remembered because of where it goes. Okay, let me think about that real hard. Okay, we're gonna do the twist first, then we'll go ahead and fix it. I knew there was a reason. Gotta love working with metal. Glass, I think, would be a little bit more frustrating than metal because when you mess up with glass, it is a rapid redesign moment or start over. With metal, oftentimes you just see your mistake early enough, hopefully, and course correct. Yeah, that's true. But Glenn GS Tongs also gets a lot of water on his anvil. He's often wiping water off of his anvil. He inspires me in that the day that I can no longer stand, because I do have back problems, I will switch to a height of anvil that allows me to sit at it and keep on swinging. Gotta love his can-do attitude, man. All right, we'll go back over here. We're going to give it just a quarter twist more to get it lined up where I want it, which is diamond to diamond. Or basically flat to flat. There we go. No rapid redesign needed. He's another one that I watch pretty much all of his videos. I have to admit, I don't watch his roaming Taipei videos nearly as often. But they are a great way to just see an area of the world you might never get to. So definitely recommend them. It's just how much time in the day do I have to watch all the videos? Not as much as I like. Well, yeah, but the first step on that, Kevin, is have a floor that is level. This floor is not level. So, yep. All right, now we have it right, which means I can move into the spade. Which is a set down on the near side of the anvil. Of course, I did it freaking backwards. So we'll do another redesign. More twist. We're going to stop right there before I go too far to be able to hold on to it. We're going to go ahead and put it back in the fire because we can fix that. That's a whole different other show, hanging seats from the ceiling there, Kevin. Yeah, on his balcony. I mean, I was worried about starting up, lighting up a forge in my garage in an HOA community, right? Because who knows who'd get upset that I could possibly burn down my house and my neighbors' houses. And he just works off his porch. Those builds a rapport with his birds, probably on the same level, if not better, than the rapport I have with my birds. All right. I probably wasn't even showing you the work I was doing either. That's all right. Let me give this a little bit more twist. In other words, a 180 twist. Since I put it on the wrong side. Did I get it right? Or go for too far, too little? Let me see. There it is. I think that's got it. Bring it back over. I wasn't showing you what I was doing anyway. I start my set down, but it turns out the set down has to be... I had it right the first time. Well, we're going to put a little more twist in it. Because what ends up happening is the set down has to be on the same side as where your curl is going. And since my scroll goes this way, I need to put it in camera view. Since my scroll is going this way, you flip the whole piece over to get the hook going the opposite way. And that's then how it goes on the wall, which means then the spade top that you're going to put a hole in has to be on the other side. So we keep a twisting. It's going to be a really twisted hook. I think I'll send it to my dad. Take care, Eric. Thank you for being here with us. Hammock forging. This is what happens when you make it up as you go rather than actually knowing what you're doing. But you take it a little bit at a time. This is not a way to make money. This is a way to enjoy your spare time. If you were going to do it making money, you would know your steps ahead of time, execute on those steps repeatedly and rapidly. All right. So we get to go 180 again. There we go. I think that's got it. Let me see. Hopefully that twist doesn't look horrible either. Since I haven't been paying attention to whether or not I needed to be careful about that, I've just been heating it up and trying to be even about the heat that goes in it, not paying attention. Yeah, that looks actually really good. Let's come back over here and show you. That actually looks really good. I think the only thing that would have possibly made that look better is if it had been a rope twist. Next time, I can show you guys a rope twist. It's a very easy twist. It just takes a lot of time to get the chiseling going. But no cuts, just the chiseling. All right. If you do a bunch of this with this, then you don't have to spend time with the wire wheel. All right, let's keep going. Get that spade done. I was going to say, for those who weren't able to see it, because for frick's sake the internet's sucky, what I was really talking about was if you spend time with the butcher block brush, you don't have to spend as much time with the wiry wheel. However, if you don't have a butcher block brush, but you do have an angle grinder from, you know, some other pastime, a wire wheel might be easier to deal with. Push it over where, Cheridos? Do you think I've not got it big enough? Is that what you're saying? Oh, you instead of twisting it some more. Hey, Ben. All right. Back here. The shape of your spade is all determined on how much effort you put into pulling out the lobes and then goofing it up like I just did. And you use the heel and the toe of your hammer to control that. It needs more heat. A rock tumbler makes sense, sure. That'll knock off all that scale and not even really cause any harm to the steel, so why not? All right. And at this point, it's done. In the shaping wise, there's one more step I'm going to take here now, mainly because I don't have a drill press. So we're going to use the blacksmith's third arm. Let's see if I can do that. Nope. Let's try it a different way. Third arm, third hand. What did I mean to say? Whew. Those tongs are hot up there. What I'm doing is my new center punch here. Trying to find... There we go. It won't fall so far if it falls. By just using the horn of the anvil. There we go. Set that there. Find where I would want my hole to be. Mark it. Now, everybody should do that much, even if you've got a drill press. I don't have a drill press, so we're going to do the next part. That is thin enough now that I probably could cold punch it. We're going to see. It's not like I care about these chisels enough to not try it. I can always make another one or sharpen the one I have. Resharpen the one I have? Yeah, that's what I meant. course, it would be easier if I had thought about it sooner and began the process from the other side. Why don't I do that? All of this will be easier if I just think more clearly. Yes, yes, Jack. Hey, look at that. And I can still see where my center punch is. Let me show you, because you guys can't see what I'm looking at. We're gonna change the tilt of the camera. We're gonna actually zoom in over there a little bit. Nope, that's not zooming in, that's zooming out. All right, so right there, having flipped it over so that it lays more flat on the anvil, I could see where my center punch was. And everything hits the floor. Drink! Kevin, you've been waiting. I hope you haven't been waiting. No dehydration on my watch, okay? Flip that back over. Take advantage of my Pritchell hole being there. Hey, look at that. You can even see the mark I left. Let's try and deepen it. Because it'll make the next step easier if I can get that deeper. There we go. With that way, let's flip it around and do what I saw my friend, what do you call himself? Strange Blacksmith? I think he calls himself Strange Blacksmith. I've started watching this channel. He's a farrier who has been doing more blacksmithing recently. When I say blacksmithing, farriers are blacksmiths. Matter of fact, they have a whole competition that they call the World Blacksmith competition or something. But what I mean to say is he's not just doing shoeing, and he doesn't consider himself a world blacksmith champion. But he's the one that got me to realize that I can cold punch at a certain with a certain degree of success. In this case, no success whatsoever. So we're going to go ahead, put that in the fire. But what he actually got me to realize is why it's called a Pritchell hole, and it has to do with horseshoeing. Who doesn't enjoy a good coffee stout? Your second-hand pen. Oh. See? And my wife thought we were making fun of you. And I'm like, no. You don't understand the way it took me a while to understand, too, to be honest. The nature of this whole society here and the love that they have and the way they demonstrate the love they have. So Ben does it to himself. Oh, lest I should forget, let's see how many Smiths I lose from this, but, you know, subscribers and etc. But happy Pride Month, everybody. My take on Pride is, I know it's explicitly for the LGBTQIA community, but there are those of us in society who don't align with the standards set forth by some members of society. that you know, had some struggles going on through life, and I want to extend, and I'm part of that community for sure, and I want to therefore make sure I call out anytime that there's a reason to celebrate and or recognize that this is true for broader swaths of our society, then want to be recognized by those same people I mentioned earlier. So here's to pride, and having pride in oneself, and the community they belong to. Not the sinful type of pride, obviously. I'm not a believer in sin, but I do understand the allegory there. That is not at all what pride is about. It's about recognizing your worth in even when others don't. Oh, did I burn it up? I might have. Got freaking close to it. Yep, I did. No, I didn't. Yay. All right. Let's see what we can do here. Can I punch it cold? Coldish. Here comes my buddy with the tractor. I have to take a step away for a minute. It is not going to want to go through that way, so I am not going to push it. I understand why it works for the horseshoe and doesn't work for mine. It's most likely due to the fact that there's a lot of support around the area, the pritchels they're actually trying to push in. So in my case, I don't have said support. So we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. We've pushed at it from one direction. We're going to push at it from the other direction. And see if we can push it through. Pretty close. It's almost to the point of shearing through. Let's see if we can get it to shear from the other direction now. It's not laying flat at this point, so let's try and get it flat. This is fiddly. Fiddly, fiddly, fiddly. There we go. We have sheared. Fiddly, but done. All right. Now, I can make that a little bit more spade-shaped by drifting it just a hair. But let me go out there and check on my buddy with the tractor. You got it, huh? You were able to chase him away? Have I mentioned how many times, how awesome my neighbors are? There the man is. Luis is bringing in his tractor with his bush hog on the back, and he's going to clear my field out there, knock that all down, and we're going to take all that and throw it into the yard with the chickens. They can have some fresh stuff, and maybe something will pop up and grow underneath it. You're awesome. All right. We'll go ahead and put that back in the fire. Put away the tool that I don't need now. Bring out the tool that, well, actually, that tool would have been fine because it can drift for a little bit. Let's use that. Of course, it's a punch and a drift, so it's sized to actually work in my Pritchell hole, so I can't just store it there. But we'll be working there, so that's fine. Hope you guys can still hear me over the noise. I figure that noise is probably representative of the compressor that I'll be using, that I'll hopefully be able to keep on the side of the building. I bought a compressor that's supposed to have a decibel level of like 69. Nice, right? Four minutes behind, yeah, because of all of the stuttering of this show, I'm sure. Yeah, I need to make some bolster plates, but I don't have it at drill press, so that's what's been holding me back on that. I'm going to have to basically spend some time over at my buddy's and have him, with his drill press, make some bolster plates for me. Oh, I'm having to scroll back, my goodness. Move stuff around while you're gone. Welcome to now. All right, we'll go ahead and flatten this back out again. We'll go ahead and flip it over. Have enough hands to pull the job off. There we go. Yeah, it looks good. No, it doesn't. I did a bad thing. That was a bad thing. I can fix it, but not here. That will take a welder to fix that. That was a bad thing. I learned a thing today. Do not try to stretch thin stuff. It won't stretch, it'll rip. So that repair will require a welder. I can hand drill bigger though. Let's finish the rest of the hook. Burnt off the tip too. Oh my goodness. So now it's not going to be a spade, it's going to be round. Because I'll have to file that round. That's the rapid redesign part. Alright. Enough of futzing around with that end of this thing. Let's go back to where... Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Check out the tear there. It just teared right up. A little bit of weld right there. You know, tacked, a couple of tacks, and a little bit of grinding, and it'll be fine. But there's no more work getting done on that end. And that is why John Switzer prefers to drill his. Alright, let's go ahead and curl around the hook, and we'll call the hook done. Let's hope I stayed there in that spot long enough for the video to catch it. Ah, it would if it were not blurry. There we go. Right there is the tear, and if we're not careful it'll go all the way across. So we'll go ahead and lay some tack welds on there and rescue this thing, because I like what it's turning into. So let's finish the job. Laundry Mountain. That sounds like a whole lot of fun, Thomas. We just finished, I shouldn't say we, Christina just finished doing the same thing this week. Danimal showed up? Awesome! Alright, good. I'm in the right place. In the fire, that is. Leave that there for a second. Grab my wacky no marky. We don't need this one anymore. However, you know what? I am going to do it with this one, because not everybody might have that rawhide hammer or block mallet, a wooden mallet. Well, some sort of soft-faced mallet is useful for the newbie, though I'm going to show that this can be done without that. The key thing to know is when you're doing, let me put it back in the fire. When you're working on a part of the project that you've already worked on, if you don't want to change the shape of that thing, then you need to be very careful with your blows, or use a soft-faced hammer is the easiest thing to do. Alright. Here we go. This is the part I don't want to change, right? But if we're careful, we won't change it. Hey, beautiful.
Hey, honey.
I got all sorts of visitors today. I got Jared to come out here to bring me something. I got Louise coming out here to work on stuff. And now you're here.
I was trying to keep Bob and Doug away so Bob could eat.
Bob and Doug away so Bob could eat.
Yeah.
Bob and Doug away so Bob could eat?
Bob and Doug separated. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
And there we
Did
go.
you figure that out?
No, I was confused. I'm easily confused.
I'm not going to say anything here in public.
Yes, but do I want to be in public?
Oh, I'm going to go inside because something tells me I'm going to start sneezing like a bitch.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody.
All right, and there we go. The hook is done. Now we just got to get it Oh, you're not looking at the same thing I am. The hook is done. Now I just got to get it a little untwisted. Wrong way. There we go. That's sort of in focus, right? The problem isn't major. If I heat it back up again and hit it right here carefully, I'll get the twist undone that I don't want. Similarly, if I heat it, if I don't want this curve that's built up in here, which I don't, if I want it to lay closer to the wall, then I have to straighten it up too, which I can do way back here on the heel. But as you can see, I was able to make that curve around without messing up the curl that I have here. The biggest thing I watched at to make that possible is, was that curl hot? If it's not hot, it won't change shape. Now, for what I'm going to do, the straightening part, I will go ahead and use the rawhide mallet. Because if I don't, I'm going to take off the pretty crisp edges I have on the twists I have. So let's get things warmed up. Would you have gone ahead and resurfaced that with hard rod? The outside camera view thing is... okay, so normally the outside camera view... So Danimal, you haven't probably seen enough of my streams. I typically have this set up, and that what you're seeing is typical of my screen. I don't. There's a lot of wasted space in a blacksmithing shop. You don't need to really see my whole body and things like that. So I end up putting the chat up there like that because I stream to something like 5 different places. I do YouTube, where you're at. I also do Facebook, where friends and family are often at. My sister joined us this morning, for example. Gid and Lisa did too on Facebook. Because I have a lot of professional folks that know about my hobby, I figured since Restream allows me to do it, I'll go ahead and stream to LinkedIn, etc. And as a result, and then I have a brother who refuses to get on Facebook or YouTube and catches me over on Twitch. But as a result of having disparate chat channels, I decided I would put the chat on the screen on the right side, and that allows folks to be able to keep up with the chat, even if they can't keep up with the chat, even if they're not on the particular place the chat's coming from. So that's why that exists. You guys get enough reality by the fact that a project that seems to only take 20 minutes on YouTube takes an hour or two to get actually done because of all the heat and so forth that you don't ever actually see. So, I figure that's enough reality. All right. That's more in line. A little bit more. There we go. Pretty freaking close. Then we go over here. We got that straightened up now. And you can even see that it still ended up marring because the anvil is hard. If I really didn't want to mar it, I would have had to do that over a wood block. So that is done enough. There's a little bit of tweaks I can do. I have to be careful because what I want to tweak involves the curl at the end, getting it twisted in the direction that lines up with everything. So let me get my scrolling tongs. Don't need to whack anything anymore. And then I'm going to go switch back to the other project that I had going on, making a forge welded ring the hard way. There we go, just hot enough to give it the light twist I need. That was a little bit more heavy than I needed. There we go. There we go. That is that. There are things I see here I don't like, but the fact is, there's plenty here that I do like. So we will call that done. I will end up going in with a file and rounding that off. You guys can, I'm not going to do it now because like I said, I think I want to do that spot weld first to avoid, let's pull in a little. There we go. Better. What I was saying, why is that pointing way up there? That's not lighting anything. There we go. What I was saying is I want to round this off, and then because I made a spade out of it before, but then I burnt the spade off, so now it's going to get rounded. But before I do that, I want to do the spot welds there, where I and then smooth out the hole for putting a screw through. As you can see, it's not quite round on this side. Things I can point out that I don't like of what I did. Because I didn't take care as to where I was whacking things, these are not as crisp an edge anymore. They've gotten flattened. Same here. Same here. On the inside of here, which I had hoped to see a nice smooth transition to a crisp corner. Now the crisp corner, I'm not even showing you. Dag nabbit. Helps if I get in the right place when I'm doing this. There it is. The crisp corner right here that I wanted to have is gone. I've got a couple of nicks from the anvil in there I don't like. What else? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. The rest of it turned out really well. In other words, it's a hook. It has good scrolls. It's got a good shape for a hook. Should serve somebody nicely for hanging something from. So yeah, there we go. That is the beginner project done-ish. I'm not going to put a finish on it right now because I'm going to do the finish work up on here first. Then I'll put beeswax or finish on it most likely. We'll set that aside. That'll be one of those projects that I'll get to. I'll get done from 98% to done 2 months from now. Ah, yes, the lengthy post problem. Let's see what the previous message was. Yeah, so I thought it showed up, so maybe it disappeared afterwards, but it said, I almost picked up an anvil earlier this week, unsure of the weight. A huge chunk of the face was broken off, but it still had a good horn, hardy hole, and pritchel hole. Kevin, we know that you don't have all wasted time. You were probably timed out though, Dan. It is due to the length of posts. The bot does disallow massive posts. Unfortunately, I can't let it be any bigger than it currently is set to. But the whole point of it is to prevent the bots that join channels drop something into the live stream for advertising purposes and then bail. That's the whole point of it, because I don't have live moderation going on right now. Ah, so the second one got deleted. Well, it doesn't normally get deleted from my channel, but I did see well, that was what followed your other one. Then it was thought I was timed out, my previous message, blah blah blah. So the king message. Oh, king message. Hold on. Scroll back a little bit. I don't remember seeing a king message. Well, I think that I've got a long message. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. It'll do that. I've taken to watching when I type, for example, in Yamez's, in the Impractical Blacksmiths live stream at the Blacksmith Church. I watch closely. It lets me know when I'm going to get to a message length that's too long and grays out the part I'm typing. That's why my message will sometimes just stop with a ... and then I'll put a second message like I did this morning. Went up to $76. How big was the anvil? $76 is cheap, right, for a lot of anvils. But if it's needs a lot of work, repair, or whatever, it doesn't have value. I get it. All right. Ah, yes, that's what I was doing. This project. Let's pull back a little bit. A little bit more. There we go. This one is what's next. And when I say the hard way, what I mean is it'd be easy to make a loop going in the flat way. I'm going against the flat way. So let's go ahead and get this fire back to going again. Because I've pretty much let it go out. Thank goodness for the charcoal. All right. The week before. Last week, I decided to do my whole live stream at the fire pit until my battery ran out. I had done too much work on Saturday trying to clean up my property, and just wasn't going to be standing at the anvil last week. So it was actually an extremely therapeutic day. I didn't do anything except tend the fire and make hot dogs. Wow, Yeah, that's a lot of, that'd be a lot of filler rod. But this was the project from from the week before. Yeah, Kevin. The project, just so you know what it is to make the equivalent to the hair barrette that has the pin that goes through, except in this case, it's for curtains. And so, to try and not have this thing be massively heavy, I decided to use some, what is it, 3/4 inch, I think, flat stock. Nope, 1 inch. 1 inch flat stock by, is it an 1/8 or a 16th? Let me see. That's a half, that's a quarter, that's an 1/8 inch. Yep. So, bend it around the 1 inch direction. Gonna get it into a overlapping situation. Then do some serious cleaning of the faces. And see if I can forge weld. Alright, the fire is coming back into its own. I try to, I hope that you guys are can tell me that I'm sounding good today. I tried a different placement of my mic so that doesn't seem to matter which way I'm turning my head or anything like that. I hope to always sound pretty consistent while not causing you extreme pain every time I hit the anvil. Alright, nestle that down in there. Move the camera. This is where the work's going to happen. Don't need these, they're out of my way. Alright. Yeah, boat anchor, nice. Yeah. Speaking of old guy, this old guy is celebrating his youngest graduating from college this Friday. He's going to be getting his bachelor's degree in computer studies, computer science. He's going to be a software engineer like his dad. Well, maybe a software engineer better than his dad. We can always hope. Come on. started making that. There we go. I was wrong about not needing the tongs yet. I mean, not needing the tongs anymore. I'd still need my scrolling tongs. Give this a little twist so that I can do the overlap. There we go. Let's heat up the area that making the twist will make sense though. Thank you. All right, just in case this one gets disappeared, just saw in the news a week or two ago about a 13-year-old boy here that graduated college with 4 diplomas. Yeah, I saw that. All in computer cybersecurity stuff. That kid is going to be making a mint. Good on him. Bejeeber. That's the first time I've ever seen that. Bejeeber. I've heard it. Would never have guessed that's how it's spelt, Kevin. All right, that's getting it out of the way for me. Just in case you were curious what in the world I was doing. Making a corkscrew type shape at the moment so I can clean surfaces and yet still do complete my bend around. All right. Now we can get back to the hitting things part of this game. Cat bejeebers are all over the place now. Oh no. Let's fix that. I'm not hearing the airflow that I like to hear. There it is. My stick is my clinker breaker. There we go. Now it'll get hot enough to move. Wow, that is lucky, Jurgen. I was just seeing somebody selling I think it was a 300-pound anvil for like $1,200. I was like, well, considering what I spent for this now limited edition new. Oh no, it was $2,100. I'm sorry. But this limited edition anvil, Alex steel anvil now. Another one of those that, though his format has now changed, really got me a long way towards what it takes to have the right skills. I think I'm almost there for the overlap. I think I just made it too tight there. It needs to be heated up here so that I push it where I want it. Yep, definitely. You can see it much clearer here. Bending it in the wrong place. All right. That's because the heat was in the wrong place. We can fix that. Wow. Those are good catches. All of that. My goodness. Southern German anvil. For that price, my goodness. And then to get that trolling motor, my goodness. Okay, hopefully, Danimal, you got yourself a boat too. Otherwise, that's not. Yeah, you got another expense on your hands yet to come. But hey, other Daniel. All right. Sorry for those who latecomers that are on here that are realizing that the live stream sucks today. I'm having some serious displeasure over how. There we go. We got a nice overlap. Look at that. That's point check. There we go. Look at it. It's a circle. Well, it's an oval. It's a really irregular oval. But when it's done, it'll be a circle. We'll go ahead and open it back up again so I can work on cleaning faces that'll end up getting welded. Not that one. This one. Let's put that there. Let's have things fall on the floor. That is the way. All right. Let's move this a little bit more like that. What am I forgetting? There we go. A little bit more like that. Let's give you a better view of what it is I'm going to be doing. Not that it's very exciting, but it is a view. So, you know. I don't think I ever promised my channel would be exciting. I'm not sure I made any promises at all of what this channel would be. thing on this side. I'll do that again in a minute. Because the next step, all right, now I have to make an executive decision. Those are the hardest ones. Do I cut it off now, or do I try to do the forge weld and then cut it off? My concern with cutting it off after the weld is I could actually cut through and break things I didn't mean to. So I think I need to cut it off now and work with some tongs. Time to use the tongs. Time to sing the tong song. What time is it? I got just enough time. Might not weld it today though, considering today I take it back. What I mean to say is, don't think I'll weld it today because I think it would be smarter to have freshly cleaned out my forge. Make sure there's nothing in there sapping away heat. Get a good hot fire going first, and then do the weld. So I won't start next live stream with the beginner project, or else I'll be in the same boat by the time I get around to this in that live stream too. So it's a serval. Wow, that's a hell of a get to be able to have all that, and it's worth more than your actual boat you're going to put it on. Time to go fishing. Oh, that's cool. Fins like a 57 Chevy. There's the song. The song of my peoples. Let's see. We'll put that there. We'll switch to there. We'll try to make that actually in focus. And it's going to be like, oh, look, it actually focused. All right. I think we're cutting it right about, be nice if I actually had my hammer. Right about there. Should be more than enough. And I'm going to have an overlap. That much I knew when I started this. Come on. Is that I would have some overlap. Get back in there. Damn it. Wow, I'm having trouble keeping it on. There we go. Such a thin piece wants to bounce around the whole time I'm doing this. That is a mess. I'm making a mess of things. Oh my gosh, my neighbor is the bestest. He's not only properly bushwhacking everything out there, but because he's got his blades on the front of his tractor, he's moving the junk that we have in our yard out of the way so that he can, oh, he's the best. He really is the best. It is so, it's such a blessing to have good human beings in your life. You forget, and I think that's what makes me so sad sometimes paying attention to the news. You forget that there are bad people out there. Actually, I wasn't planning on it, Rob. I was planning on just doing a lap weld without bothering to scarf it. It's such a thin piece of material. It's only at 1/8 inch that I think scarfing. I mean, I can. It's gonna be the smallest scarf ever. I'm not really worried about blending it so much. So I wasn't really worried about scarfing it. But now that I've got like multiple cut marks in it, I might just smooth that out. There we go. That got it right that time. All right. Cool that off. You can see the nasty mess I made of things. So that's a shame. And by the way, kind of think now that I think about it, as far as scarfing is concerned, I probably wouldn't have needed to scarf it anyway if this thing had cut cleanly the first time, because it would have created a natural scarf on one side. So the other side, though, it would be probably smart to go ahead and scarf. Like I said, it's not a real big deal for it to be scarfed. They're just going to lay on top of each other. They're thin material. They'll blend pretty easily, but I think I will. I'll scarf this side. But that's a job for next week. Hopefully by next week AT&T has their cell service figured out. It's been a long time since I got bad cell service out here. And then of course that impacted our live stream today, but it seems to me like we all still ended up having a lot of fun together. So I definitely appreciate the folks in the chat, you know, being so chatty. Let's see, just in case Shane's thing gets dropped, as it is possibly likely to do. I'm gonna scroll back because there are a couple of bigger blocks that Shane's dropped in here. I need to rearrange my garage after moving to get at my forge. Need to buy some kind of enclosure to move the forge to the yard. A lot of work there, Shane. And then you said it is going to be a lot of work. I have a small walking area, and it's pretty daunting. The joys of acquiring my father's tools he hoarded for years. If he couldn't find a tool, he bought a new one. And then found it later, right? Because it was in a safe space. And I know my safe spots are very much like that. They're safe from my ever finding them. So, all right, ladies and gents, and everything in between. Thank you so much for joining me, hanging out here despite the stop motion animation, and keeping things hopping in the chat. It's definitely the thing I tell everybody when I talk about the live stream, that it's really about coming in here and hanging out with you all. So have a great rest of your weekend, and let's see if we catch you here same bat time, same bat channel. Love and light.